Three news stories for you. Firstly, Ethiopian government-backed news sources have shared some pictures of newly captured TDF fighters. The fighters have been taken prisoner reportedly in North Shoa zone. I'll show you pictures. Secondly, in Benishangul Gumuz region of Ethiopia, conflict is worsening between Ethiopian National Defense Force and Amhara militias. If you remember, in a previous video a few weeks ago, I told you about the entry of Amhara forces, Amhara militias in Benishangul Gumuz. We shared picture with you as well of Amhara militias operating in BG. But there reportedly some conflict is worsening. Amhara militia members have been arrested by ENDF soldiers there. And thirdly, viewers, international media is once again sensationalizing this war. BBC a few hours ago shared a story which seems to be implying that US forces are ready to intervene in Ethiopia. A BBC reporter interviewed a US channel in Djibouti. But the interview has been presented out of context. I have some clips of this interview for you. Firstly, viewers, some TDF fighters have been taken prisoner by Amhara forces. Ethiopian government news sources have shared pictures. You can see the pictures on your screen. According to Ethiopian government-backed news sources, the pictures are from North Shua zone of Amhara region, where these TDF fighters have been taken prisoner. North Shua is still very volatile, viewers. Though Tigray Defense Force and OLA have entered this place, North Shua, but still TDF and OLA are not in full control of major places in North Shua. They are in control of Kamise and Majate as well, but their control of Atayai, Debre Sina, Debre Birhan, it has not been confirmed so far. But fighting is being reported in several locations in North Shua zone, where some PDF fighters have been taken prisoner, according to the claims of Ethiopian government-backed news sources. Secondly, was conflict between Ethiopian National Defense Force and Amhara forces in Benishangul Gumuz is worsening. In a previous video a few weeks ago, I told you about Amhara forces having entered Benishangul Gumuz. Why did they enter? Because Gumuz fighters, Gumuz militia members, they were carrying out attacks on Amhara BG border, and Ethiopian government was accusing TPLF of backing those fighters. It was being said that TPLF was trying to back Gumuz fighters for their incursions into Amhara region. So Amhara forces, they entered BG. Then we heard reports, we saw reports about the presence of OLA as well in BG. So OLA, Gambela Liberation Front and Benishangul Liberation Front, the three groups were working in coordination, in collaboration in Western Oromia, in BG, in Gambela. That is why Amhara militia members, they entered BG in coordination with Ethiopian National Defense Force, because ENDF was on board when Amhara militias entered BG. Now, we have received several reports that some Amhara militia members have been arrested by ENDF officers. And Amhara forces, they are now putting pressure upon ENDF, that ENDF must release those captured Amhara militia members. So far, the captured members have not been released. We know there are border disputes as well between Amhara region and Benishangul Gumuz region. If you remember, viewers, I told you in the previous video that this entry of Amhara militias in BG could lead to complications because Amhara region has had some claims about some territories which are part of Benishangul Gumuz. Now, the conflict seems to be worsening, and it is being reported by Amhara news sources as well. They are confirming, some Amhara news sources, that ENDF members have arrested some Amhara fighters in Benishangul Gumuz region of Ethiopia. Lastly, viewers, BBC did yesterday a story from a Camp Lemonnier, which is US military base in Djibouti. A BBC reporter went there. She interviewed a Janel William Zana, and the two discussed Ethiopian conflict. She asked a question about the preparations of US Army in case of worsening of security situation in Ethiopia. The general said that military was ready, and he said that military was ready to respond, especially with regard to any threats to US diplomatic missions. So his answer was like that of any military officer, that military is always ready. They always say that, we are ready. No, there was nothing extraordinary about the statement of William Zana, US general. And during his talk, he was focusing on preparations of US base in Djibouti regarding threats to US diplomatic missions in Ethiopia or in other parts of East Africa. But BBC took this interview out of context. It shared this interview as if US was ready to militarily intervene in Ethiopia. Once again, I would say international media is definitely sensationalizing this war. Why? Because they're getting views, they're getting reads. Ethiopia war is selling. That is why international media is focusing on this, and in the race for more viewers, for more watch time, people are doing sensational reporting, a bit detached from reality. Watch the video clip showing BBC journalist interviewing William Zana, US general at Camp Lemonnier, which is US military base in Djibouti. See for yourself what the general is saying and how BBC portrayed it. Thank you for watching.
Ethiopia is inextricably tied to the security, the safety of the rest of the region. When Ethiopia has an internal conflict that may make it decide to withdraw forces from Somalia, now you have 5 African Union countries that are also affected, and Somalia. You have the potential for violent extremist organizations to have greater activity there. We also see enduring conflicts or points of tension. The border conflict between Sudan and Ethiopia, that risks of that turning, or perhaps with the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam with the GERD, that it would change the calculus there. There's a risk that other countries may look at Ethiopia's internal focus as an opportunity to take something, whether it be a military action or stronger political action, when Ethiopia is not credibly able to either continue operations or negotiation.
In the event Addis Ababa falls, what role can this base take? What role can the US military take to deal with the impact of that fall?
So a primary role for our command here is to be able to respond to crisis, and in particular to respond to crises that are associated with US diplomatic missions across Africa, but in particular in East Africa. We have done an incredible amount of planning and preparation to be able to respond, to assist in evacuation, to reinforce an embassy, to do a larger scale evacuation if necessary, both for US personnel, US citizens or dual citizens, or those from other countries. The East African Response Force, the only US crisis response force that is located on the continent of Africa, is part of our command and located here. So we bring capabilities together from each of our joint services and allies and partners to any sort of crisis. And Ethiopia is obviously very concerning for us.